An article states, but many highly processed foods contain unhealthy amounts of salts, fat, and calories. And research has associated increased consumption of ultra-processed foods with a higher risk of heart conditions and numerous other health problems. Processed food is being consumed more as time goes on. The overconsumption of processed food has become a significant issue. These issues started in the mid-20th century, along with the rise of industrial food production. Our health has been sacrificed for the conveniences of others, therefore saving their time and efforts. Yet our health should be the most important thing that is worth all the time and effort. I have fallen into the convenience of processed foods a multiple of times. In my defense, this high-calorie, sugary, salty, and low-nutrient food is highly accessible. As of recently, I have struggled in finding accessible food that I know is good for my body. It is extremely frustrating because nowadays the only food that is easily accessible is ultra-processed foods. Although it is difficult to avoid altogether, I have access information to know what to look for on ingredient lists to determine if the food will be beneficial for me. The situation of increasing consumption of processed foods is killing us slowly, and we need to take steps towards improved health as a whole by setting aside time, checking ingredients, and trying simple food swaps. Ultra-processed foods are a growing problem in today's society. This is a problem for several reasons, such as nutritional imbalance, high and unhealthy ingredients, artificial additives, addictive nature, increased risk of chronic disease, and impact on gut health. Processed foods are likely to lack essential nutrients that are necessary in a balanced diet. With lacking nutrients that consist of things we shouldn't consume a lot of, such as high sugar, unhealthy fats, and sodium, having these high levels of unhealthy ingredients can lead to a decline in health by leading to obesity, heart disease, and other chronic illnesses. Even if the processed food isn't reacting fast by giving you an illness, they still can negatively affect other aspects like gut health. Gut health can be affected by low fiber levels in food. Gut issues can lead to a variety of other issues in illness that can be prevented by having a balanced diet of minimal processed foods. An article states the fundamental concern as we look to reform health in America is the known reality that most chronic diseases that afflict Americans are predominantly lifestyle-induced, and the belief is that the vast majority of heart attacks and strokes can be prevented if people were willing to adapt healthy lifestyle behaviors. In order to avoid these terrible risks from eating processed foods, there are steps to take to live a healthier lifestyle. One way to reduce the intake of processed foods is by setting aside time to use towards grocery shopping and cooking. By setting aside time, one can drive a little farther to a grocery store that provides more selection of whole foods. Additionally, with setting aside time, one can find new recipes to cook themselves so that they will know exactly what is going into their food. Another way to reduce the intake of processed food is by checking ingredient lists and watching out for labels. Labels that say the food product is bioengineered is an automatic red flag that the food is likely not to be the best for you. When looking at the ingredient list, you can look for triggering ingredients such as seed oils. Another way to steer away from processed food is by making simple food swaps. An article states one of the simplest ways to reduce your intake of processed foods is to start trading them for healthier whole foods. In particular, you can switch refined grains like white pasta, rice, bread, and tortillas for whole grain alternatives such as brown rice and whole grain pasta, bread, and tortillas. Making swaps can seem small, but it can make the biggest difference. If these changes are practiced daily and become someone's new normal, they will experience many health benefits. Processed and ultra-processed foods, in contrast, are often high in calories. Weight loss can help protect against arthritis, cancer, diabetes, and heart disease if you have obesity, is a statement that an article made. Additionally, avoiding processed foods can enhance one's mood, and whole foods improve mental health, which can lead to health disorders. With having a whole diet, one's sleep quality improves as well as their heart health. On the contrary, if one continues to eat processed food heavily, then they are more likely to suffer from illnesses, have bad quality sleep, have poor mental health, and might struggle with their weight. In conclusion, the consumption of processed foods is a problem that needs to be fixed in order to avoid negative health issues. One can limit their intake of processed food by setting aside time, making healthy snack swaps, and checking ingredient lists. We need to take responsibility for our health and stop falling for the convenience of overprocessed and bioengineered food. Thank you.